Hi, this is Bridget with Life on Spectrum, and today we're going to do something a little unusual. I want you to go back and I want you to think if you can remember the movie 16 Candles. It's one of my favorite all-time movies of all time, and the reason is because of the famous dance scene. Molly Ringwald walks in, and on one side of the gymnasium you have the quote-unquote geeks and the nerds, and on the other side is all the cool people, and then the people sitting on the bleachers are kind of like the in-betweens. Well, remember that. And believe it or not, high school hasn't changed much since then. The music might have changed, the way they dress, yes, might have changed. And some schools may actually have 2 different dance areas now for different types of music interests. But in general, it's pretty much the same. And you all have to understand that even at one point in time, all of you were a little awkward or feeling awkward about going into these school dance situations. So just imagine our students on the spectrum. School dances can be very, very awkward for our students. And I want to make sure that you're aware of that. And remember that picture of 16 Candles and how they walked in and they never knew where to go or where to sit or where to stand or what they can and cannot do. Because that's what they go through every time they go into a new situation. So when it comes to high school, especially middle school and high school, when these opportunities of dances come up, I want you to remember that scene. I want you to remember how you felt possibly too. And you have to make that decision whether you want to push your student to go or not. Now for my son, he never really wanted to go to the dances. He never had an interest. However, I remember personally trying to push him to go to prom because that's one thing I wanted him to experience. And probably because I enjoyed the 2 proms that I attended. But then after sitting with him and actually talking to him, he's like, "Mom, it's just not my thing." I said, "But how do you know? You never tried. You didn't like the movies at first, but then I kept making you go." Or I kept making you say, you said you would never like a concert, and then you loved going to concerts. But he said to me, he says, "It's different. It's enclosed. It's a different environment." So eventually, what we did for prom is we made a compromise. And instead of going to prom, he actually went to the after prom. Now, a lot of schools have after proms now, and they're usually held within their school or an environment around their school or somewhere in the community. And what he decided is to go to that, and that's because they have different events usually happening in different parts of the warehouse or the building or wherever they're at for after prom. And we decided that he could try to do that at least, so he could have some kind of experience during his junior or senior year. And that was a great compromise. We also contacted the school and said, "Look, we know they're not supposed to leave until 5 in the morning or whatever the case may be, but in case of emergency, would it be okay to call me and I would be picking him up?" And that's exactly what we did. We set that in plan. And his junior year, he actually came home around 2 in the morning, but his senior year, he lasted the whole evening. And at least he was a part of something. And like I said, there was more activities going on. He didn't have to dance. He could do the poker tables, I think, one year. The other year was movies and things like that. So he had a great time. So keep that in mind. Try and remember 16 Candles. Remember that scene, how maybe you felt at a school dance. And instead of trying to push them to do something, try to come up with a good compromise. Hopefully that helps. And I'm Bridget with Life on Spectrum. Thanks for watching that episode, and make sure you come back and join us again for upcoming videos. They'll be uploaded almost on a daily basis. Also, if you really enjoyed us, like us below, or even leave a comment for us to respond back to. And if for all of you that are really involved in the Life on Spectrum, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate you. We hope that this is worthwhile for you, and we'll see you next time on Life on Spectrum.